It's a Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Cowboy State Daily has more original Wyoming news information than any other source in the Cowboy State. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com. Enjoy the next few days. We are going to have more beautiful weather. We'll have a little bit more wind. That's one thing, I guess, if we were to nitpick as we go into the next 2 or 3 days, especially tomorrow and Friday. As the patterns begin to change and the jet stream winds get a little stronger, it's going to become a little more breezy. But the bottom line is still very mild and dry across the Intermountain West and the Pacific Northwest and really the whole region. But the big change is coming this weekend, and our confidence is really high. Really what we have to work out now are the details. So the change, we're very confident of the change. But we've got to sort out the details because it'll be the smaller things, the nuances that as we get into late Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will dictate where the biggest impacts will be. But I will tell you that we are confident there will be high impacts. And when we mean high impacts, travel impacts, impacts for hunters, impacts for folks who maybe aren't quite ready for this weather pattern change since it's really been such a nice fall. The mountains are going to receive their first widespread snowfall this season. This is basically the first layer of the snowpack across the Intermountain West and the Pacific Northwest and parts of Western Canada that we're going to see this season so far. And for the last days of October, just expect it to be colder. While I don't see anything that I would say is brutally cold coming, certainly it's not going to be anything like the last few weeks where we've enjoyed some really, really great weather. The colors are still to be found in some areas, pockets in the higher elevations, but beginning to fade. Satellite imagery is very interesting, as I'll show you here in a moment. You can see across the west, there's just nothing but clear skies. That low in the Great Lakes in New England is heading off to the northeast extremely slowly, but it's all back up here where the weather is beginning to change. And here's a zoomed in photo of a low pressure system in the Gulf of Alaska. Now this is actually not the system, but it's kind of, let's call it the sacrificial lamb. It's the first storm coming in to the northwest areas of Canada and into that Gulf of Alaska area that's going to beat down this high pressure, kind of the sacrificial lamb going out, running into the high and beginning to weaken it and signaling that weather pattern change. It's this guy right here that is going to be the big weather maker. And you can see that two very impressive swirls of low pressure here in the Gulf of Alaska, then all the way back out here where folks just really don't pay attention to things because it really is in the middle of nowhere. But I will tell you that when we get into the cold season, this is the part of the globe that really dictates how our winter will go. And so this is where we really want to keep a close eye on things. And you can also see very impressive jet stream wind clouds here developing. And we talked about last week this big, strong jet stream forming in the North Pacific that was going to signal the change. And all of these pieces of the puzzle are really beginning to fall together. You can see the low there over the Great Lakes region, still slowly moving around, keeping the eastern half of the nation very chilly, while the western half of the nation just enjoying this beautiful weather pattern. This is by 6 p.m. Saturday. The trough is beginning to move into the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies, and we basically see that reversal of fortune. And that colder air is going to be coming in on behind it. Here are the temperature anomalies for the same time. So for 6 p.m. Mountain Time, on Saturday, you can still see it warm east of the divides, out into the plain states, but you can see all the green and the blue and the purple moving into the Pacific Northwest, moving into Boise, beginning to move into Salt Lake, moving into Sacramento and Portland. It's just going to get colder by Saturday in those areas. Then as we go into a next 24-hour period, this is by 6 p.m. on Sunday. So 6 p.m. Saturday, 6 p.m. Sunday. So by that time frame on Sunday, the cold air spills over the Front Range and over the Continental Divide. And you can see all that green, blue, and purple in the Intermountain West is getting further east, while the opposite is happening in the plain states where temperatures really warm up ahead of that low. By that same time Sunday, we have a low forming over northeast Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, and western Nebraska. One trend we've seen in the modeling is for the system to maybe slow down a little bit and maybe be a little bit more organized. If this trend continues, this means the storm is going to be more impactful. Again, this is Wednesday. We're still several days out. But if it does slow down and become a bit better organized, well, that's going to mean more cold coming on in, and it's also going to mean a higher precipitation rate for some parts of the northern and central Rockies. One area I kind of want to just put a bug in here and watch. This is an area right here that if that low becomes better organized and becomes stronger, I think the storm is going to become a bigger factor. Better snow on the plains, heavy snow in the mountains, and colder conditions and more wind, where the travel will be impacted. And as we mentioned earlier this week, hunters, you got to really pay attention because you're going to go from this beautiful blue sky to significant snow in the mountains, and we're going to get some bleed over snow onto the plains as well. This is a snowfall forecast through early Wednesday morning, and you can see the mountains of the interior west seeing significant snow, getting all the way down there into southwest Colorado, the mountains of southern Utah. So this is a significant event. Again, the devil's in the details. Expect these maps to shift around and move around a little bit. But I'm going to put that bug in the ear that we got to watch this area here. North central, northeastern Wyoming, central and southern areas of Montana to see what comes together. If you got to travel in that Sunday, Monday time frame, you're gonna have winter driving conditions if you're going over a mountain pass or higher elevations. And then there's another wave coming in behind this. This is for noon Wednesday. So this is the storm right here that comes through Sunday and Monday. We have another system coming in behind it that'll bring a shot of mountain snow maybe and some colder temperatures. But I will tell you that we got to get rid of this first storm system first before that long-range forecast becomes better in focus. But there will likely be more cold air coming in towards the middle of next week. A quick sea surface temperature update. We do later today get the new updated long-range forecast for sea surface temperatures and the updated La Nina El Nino forecast. We'll provide that to you tomorrow, but we can see two highlights. The La Nina, the cold sea surface temperatures there in the subtropical Pacific, but there's those warmer temperature anomalies in that North Pacific, which is a cold signal. And that cold signal is going to show itself as we get into Sunday and Monday, and a cold signal for other episodes of cold coming this fall and winter season. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.